Welcome back. It's June 30th, 2025. Just wanted a quick update on CONY. Those interested or own the ETF, showing for the week what the traders have as position as well as how it's been doing. Just a quick look here. If I zoom in a bit. CONY was Group C. It did announce its dividend was 54 cents. Recent price from the last ran this was $9.28. Looks like it might be a little bit lower at about $9.15 a share today. As far as Group C, if I filter based on Group C, based on the percent return for the month, CONY did come in at 5.77% for the month. The HOOD or HOOY was the best at almost 10%, or slightly over 10% for the month at a pretty large $6.50 dividend. And then rounding out, we had AMD, Carvana, Microsoft, PayPal, Netflix. But if we go to CONY and just looking at it quick, you can see the distribution per share here. It came in at 53 cents, almost 54, well below the average, but in line with where it's been lately. The ETF price has fallen considerably since the inception date. However, overall, CONY investors, if you include the cumulative dividend, in addition to the share price, they've done pretty well since inception, go from 20 up to almost 40. So pretty good return overall. That said, I want to just look at CONY in depth, the details of what they're currently holding. You've seen in previous my video, I've started to look at this a little bit more. So we look at the actual fund's holdings, what they're doing. But I guess first to look at the fund, Coinbase, the underlying stock, did have a pretty good run. So that did have some impact on the CONY fund. You see the market cap rose considerably. It's over 1.4 billion now. And the shares outstanding have also increased. In terms of the components, as far as what the CONY fund is currently, they currently have a lot of it in cash. Then they got a synthetic with a little bit of value. Then they sold some contracts against the synthetic that creates a negative value on the portfolio or the fund right now. But assuming the fund increases, or assuming the fund's underlying equity, Coinbase does not hit the targets, then the entire fund value will go up by about 6.2 million on a per share basis. You can see that we got $9.10 in cash, $9.19 in the ETF price. The synthetic's only worth like 13 cents right now. And the contracts sold are just like 4 cents a share. It's not really a lot sold using the synthetic as collateral. As far as how their synthetic is structured, they do have 40,250 contracts available. They've sold contracts against everything in the synthetic, but then they've also bought insurance. So effectively, they've sold a credit spread. Of the 40,250 contracts they've sold, they got insurance in 28,000, or about a 70% insurance percentage. And then as far as how they're structured, you can see they currently now have 2 synthetics. They have a synthetic at 330 and they got another synthetic at 360. Currently, at least you can check what the coin stock's at right as I'm talking, 351. I think when I updated this, it was 356. So roughly where the stock line is at. And then you can see these are the calls that they have sold. So they have some sold up to 385. 390, 390, 400, and 405. The size of the bar chart effectively shows how many contracts they have sold out against those. I just wanted to make sure. So 385, I'm just looking at their actual published amount, which I pull in automatically. I was making sure that was updated correctly. But you can see the 385s are what they have sold. So everything here is what they have sold. And then everything here is what they have in insurance. These bottom 2 are the part of the synthetic. But so you can see their insurance starts at $417.50. Everything ends on 7/3/2025. So you see with the CONY price at 351, it would have to move to 385 before you hit those. So they did put it out a ways, in my opinion. That said, CONY has been moving drastically lately, so perhaps they don't want to get capped out on the upside. So I guess if you're an owner of the fund, we want Coinbase to rise rapidly. 385 would be great. Anything above 385 would also be good. But yeah, I can move it to 385, and the CONY ETF will appreciate as much as the underlying equity. And then you'd also get the option premium if it ended just above 385. That said, because we're so far up, the option premium is not too much. As a percentage, so other contracts as a percent. So you can see of the contracts they sold, they got 13.8% at the 385. The biggest one is they got 41% at the 392.50. So of the contracts they sold, the greatest percentage of them come at the 392.50. And then as far as what the market value of these are, I guess this shows overall market value. Perhaps a better indicator would be the market value per share. So you can see it's not very much, 1 cent. Most of these are about, I guess this one here, the 392.50 accounts for 2 cents on the share price. So if these do end up going unexercised, the fund should rise by, let's see, 1 cent, another almost 1 cent, 2 cents, almost 1 cent, less than half a cent, so about 4 cents, probably 4 or 5 cents overall. Then we also got some money invested over here, fractional amounts, and into the insurance contracts. This is just a percentage basis of the same chart. So assuming we're going up towards the strike prices that we sold, here's how much the synthetic would increase, assuming we hit these. So if we hit the 385, the synthetic would increase 15.7 million. Once again, we probably want to see this on a per share basis. Makes a little bit more sense. If it hit 385, the synthetic would gain 10 cents. And then here it'd be 12 cents, 38 cents, and then 22 cents and 13 cents respectively. And that just assumes the contracts that are sold out there. So here's a hypothetical gain, assuming the synthetic hits these underlying prices for the Coinbase stock. But probably the one I would like to focus on the most is probably this chart. So this just basically shows you the magnitude of what they have sold out right now. So yeah, I guess overall, if we're looking for the 385 strike, if anything below that, we collect all the option premium. Anything above that, we start getting capped out. Although we get capped out most probably at the 392.50. So I guess that's just a quick look into CONY, what they're owning. If you want to look at the actual chart, so I do got that saved. I basically just copy and paste it from their website. But it does show you as well, if you want to look at the exact contracts, what the other tabs do is try to put that in a visual format so you actually see the magnitudes accordingly. But yeah, I guess that's a daily update for CONY as far as what they own.